Okay, in this video, I'm going to just demonstrate and evidence the corruption that's taking place in Formula One. So I'm going to go through the analysis provided by Anthony Davidson of the Lando Norris Max Verstappen incident at the Austin Grand Prix. I'm going to do a further video on the Jolyon Palmer analysis of it that's done on the F1 website. That'll be for a different video. But this is the key dynamic, and the key problems are that we have a government, a governing body of the sport that is corrupt, and it is failing to apply the rules of the sport to certain individuals to benefit certain individuals. Okay, and then it's using the media to lie to people, to present the situation in completely the wrong way in order to get people to believe it to be a certain way. And them same dynamics are exactly the same dynamics that enable corruption in all of our lives. All of the things that dictate the cost of living for each and every one of us, for example, things that the government could have control over and could impose penalties on those that are fleecing us. They don't. They just enable these people. They enable companies, corporations to be making billions out of us through charging us too much money for them. And then it's presented via the media that's also owned by other billionaires, all in the same billionaires club. That, oh yeah, this is just the way it has to be. Unlucky everybody, we're all in the same boat here. And this is the mechanics of it. So what we have here in the sport of Formula One is a weasel, a rat boy here, that's put in front of us to present it to be a certain way, and it's absolute cobblers. All right, absolute lies. So I'm going to go through that with you all now. Don't go, some of you will have switched off already, going, "Oh, this guy is crazy, conspiracy theory." You need to distance yourself from that. Just look at the facts that are going to be presented. In that race, there were 4 cars that were penalised. Well, there were 4 decisions. If we go, you can go and do this yourself. FIA website. So this is the documents, the official FIA documents from that United States Grand Prix. So as you scroll down them, you've got infringement, the organiser and promoter, track invasion. So the track will get told off by the FIA and have to pay a penalty for the fact that the crowd will have gone onto the track. All right. Oh, we don't like that, so we're going to fine the track for that. Okay. So what you have down here: championship points, final race classification, race scrutineering, infringement, race deleted lap times, infringement car 4, infringement car 22, and then if I just scroll this down a little bit more, infringement car 10 and infringement car 63. So they're the 4 that we're going to look at, and when you click on them, what you get is these 4 PDF documents. So that's Lando Norris. We're going to start off with this one though, George Russell. So what did George Russell do? George Russell forced car 77 off the track at turn 12 and got a 5-second penalty. The stewards reviewed positioning / marshalling system data and in-car video evidence. And here we go. They tried to present this bullshit, and they'll bullshit it in different ways depending on what they want the outcome to be. The driving standard guidelines provide that when overtaking on the inside, the driver must not force the other car off the track. Okay, Max Verstappen was overtaking on the inside. Okay, and we can use this picture here. This is Lando Norris on the outside. Lando Norris is fully ahead of Max Verstappen. If you draw a line across Lando Norris's rear wheels, he is ahead of Max Verstappen's front wheels. Lando Norris has overtaken Max Verstappen on entry to that corner. So now Lando Norris is the lead car. Max Verstappen would be the overtaking car, wouldn't he? Max Verstappen is the overtaking car if he is trying to retake that position, because now at this stage here, Lando Norris is in the lead. He has performed that overtake. He's in the lead. If this was the start finish line and they were crossing it like this, who is in the lead? Lando Norris. Lando Norris has performed the overtake. That is the fact. It's not up for debate. He has performed the overtake. He is in front. So now Max Verstappen needs to retake that position if that's what he intends to do. Max Verstappen becomes the car attempting to make the overtake. So Let's look at the George Russell situation. The driving standard guidelines provide that when overtaking on the inside, yes, Max is trying to overtake on the inside, the driver must not force the other car off the track and must leave a fair and acceptable width for the car being overtaken. Did Max leave a fair and acceptable width for Lando Norris? Absolutely not. Max Verstappen went off the track himself. He couldn't even keep on the track himself. So he certainly didn't leave a fair and acceptable width for another car. So, yes, he's breached, hasn't he? Max Verstappen has breached. That is a fact. So, however, in mitigation, a 5-second penalty is imposed instead of the standard 10-second penalty because the stewards determined that the forcing off track was not deliberate and the driver of car 63 was in control at all times. So you're saying you've only given George Russell 5 seconds penalty instead of 10 because you didn't deem it deliberate and he was in control. He was in control because he kept his car on track. Well, he's not in control in as much that he's not left the other car track room, so that doesn't demonstrate control, does it? Doesn't fulfill that parameter, so it doesn't show you that he was in control enough to fulfill that parameter. So that's not really in control. However, what has Max done? Max couldn't even control his own vehicle to keep his own vehicle on the track. That is reckless. So you don't even have that mitigation, do you? So Max Verstappen has not only forced another car off the track, okay, he was not in control of his car. Why was he not in control of his car? Well, he's gone from this position of being behind and he's managed to get ahead of the other car by the apex. Why is that? Well, when you go around a corner, you need to slow your car down to an appropriate speed to get round that corner. Max didn't do that. Max sped ahead to force his way ahead and was unable to keep in control of his vehicle. Well, that's reckless driving. Okay, so that is the fact that what is happening here is Max Verstappen was not in control of his car at all times. He drove off the track and in doing so drove the other car off the track. That is a 10-second penalty. That is a 10-second penalty for Max Verstappen. Now, if we just have a look at this one, let's see if we've got the final race result here. Let's see what 10 seconds does. It probably just drops in behind Oscar. I don't think anybody was closer than that, but we'll have a look. Let's have a look. So we'll have a look down this document. You add 10 seconds to Max Verstappen's race time. Remember, you've got to deduct 5 seconds from Lando Norris's, so that already elevates Norris above him. Max Verstappen, race time, 1:35.29. You add 10 seconds, that puts him at 1:35.39. Well, Oscar Piastri is 1:35.31. So there you go. So it drops, yeah, nobody's closer than that. George Russell's far too far back. It drops Max Verstappen down to 5th position. Simple as that. And that's all you need. But we can go on. Pierre Gasly, look at and this is the sort of thing here that's absolutely disgusting. So you've got these corrupt stewards, Gary Connolly, Derek Warwick, Loic Bacalane and Dennis Nean. These two, Connolly and Warwick, are absolutely corrupt. Now, we have Derek Warwick owns a Honda car dealership on the Isle of Jersey. He's adjudicating on a Honda-powered motor vehicle. That would be a conflict of interest. Nobody can determine, oh, well, he's not allowed to be a steward in Formula One because he's got a conflict of interest. The media like to report that Susie Wolff has got a conflict of interest because she is the head of the women's series of racing car formula, and she's married to the guy that's the team principal of Mercedes, so that somehow is a conflict of interest, is it? So the media will report that as being a conflict of interest. How? How is that a conflict of interest? How does that, her being in charge and head of the women's series of driving, how does that impact and benefit the Mercedes team? How does that do that? However, you've got an official that it is beneficial to him if the Honda team or the Honda powered team achieves success, because that's good kudos for the brand that he makes money out of. Oh, that is a conflict of interest, but you don't want to identify that, do you? Andrew Benson of the BBC doesn't like to identify that conflict of interest. Nobody else likes to identify that conflict of interest, whereby an official making a decision can't make an impartial decision because they stand to gain from the decision that they're making. That represents conflict of interest. Your interest is vested. Yeah, your interest actually can benefit you if you make a corrupt decision to benefit that Honda powered car. Derek Warwick, the great white hope himself. Oh, but media won't tell you like that. So I can refer back to the original example. The conspiracy theorist that I am. When you start joining the dots up and realizing that the big picture is that people are allowed to make a lot of money, and the media is controlled by the billionaires, those with lots of money, and they tell us lies, and they try and get us to fight each other over the things that aren't there to fight about, because they're just trying to divert our attention from pointing the finger at them and saying you're doing that wrong. That's not allowed. There's laws that are there to prevent that, and now just try and divert our attention away from looking at them. And in the meantime, they're making more money. That's how the system is working. Okay, that's not a conspiracy. That is it's not a theory. Sorry, that is people with significant wealth controlling that system to operate in that manner. Okay, that's not a theory. That is actually taking place. So we'll have a look at this document here. And in fact, the amount of time this is taking, I'll probably have to do a separate video to go through Anthony Davidson's analysis. But let's just go through the documents first of all. So this one. Oh, okay. I was going to say to this one. The decision of the stewards are taken independently of the FIA and are based solely on the relevant regulations, guidelines, and evidence presented. So we have the FIA, the governing body of the sport, who are the governing body that organise this event and officiate this event. And when you're making official decisions relating to this event, they try to absolve themselves by saying, oh, the stewards' decisions are independent of the FIA. What the fuck is that all about? What the actual fuck is that all about? You are the FIA stewards. You are contracted by the FIA. And you have got this disclaimer saying the decisions of those FIA stewards are independent of the FIA. Fuck off. Fuck right off. Stop gaslighting the fuck out of everybody. You are the governing body. These are your representatives making the official decisions on your behalf. They are not independent of the FIA, you corrupt fucks. And you cannot write some sort of disclaimer to pretend that the decisions they make do not represent the FIA, because that is exactly the capacity that they are representing, you fucks. Absolute fucks. And this is what they're doing in this world. They're trying to absolve themselves of the responsibility, yet they are the organisers of the fucking event, and they are the people responsible for the fair running of that event in accordance with the rules and regulations of that sport. And they come up with a sentence like that. Decisions of the stewards are taken independently of the FIA. What the fuck are you talking about? Absolutely ridiculous. I was trying not to get angry about this, but this is corruption, and this is bastards, right? Trying to use words to confuse, to get people to go, oh, what's that all about? What's that all about? Oh, well, that's not the FIA's fault, is it? Well, whose fault is it? If the FIA are the governing body of this sport, and this sport takes place in accordance with the rules as determined by the FIA, and the FIA are the governing body that takes an income from this sport, from officiating this sport, then those officials that are being paid by the FIA are representing the FIA, official FIA employees, as stewarding at this event, and any decision they make must be in accordance with the FIA's rules, and hence they are acting on behalf of the FIA. So what's that sentence at the bottom all about? It's absolute bollocks, isn't it? Absolute fucking bollocks. So, anyway, the stewards reviewed positioning, marshalling, system data, video, and in-car video evidence. Oh, but we don't get that for Max Verstappen. Oh, unfortunately, Max's camera was facing to the rear at this point. Car 10 was overtaking car 23 on the outside, was level with car 23 at the apex. It's irrelevant, okay? Where you are at the apex is irrelevant. It's all about the braking zone. And as I've probably said this before, but I'll go through in the Anthony Davidson video. It's not a drag race to the apex. Okay? The criteria has never been that. They've tried to introduce that to gaslight people, to lie to people about what's acceptable and what's not in motor racing. It's not a drag race to the apex. Motor racing takes place around a circuit, which means you have to drive your car around the circuit, around all of those corners of the track, and maintain your place on the track. If this is a drag strip, okay, a straight line where two cars start off side by side, the green light goes, or the red lights go off, and it's go, and it's the first one to the end. That's called a drag race, yeah? The first one to the end is the winner, okay? It's not the first one to the apex of the corner wins the corner. No, because if you're going so fast that you then can't make the corner, then you're not taking part in circuit motor racing, are you? You're not making it around that circuit if you're going off that circuit because you've gone too fast into that corner. Oh, but I got to the apex first. I don't give a fuck, mate. You didn't make it around the corner. The criteria of motor racing is to drive around the course on the fucking track. And if you can't do that, clearly you've gone into the corner too fast and therefore you're driving recklessly. So this criteria is nothing to do with getting to the apex first. And it's nothing to do with your relative positions at the apex. When you're racing wheel-to-wheel racing with something else, it's about leaving each other track room. And if the other car that you're racing alongside has earned the right to track room, meaning that by the time you get to the braking zone for the corner, you're in the respective positions which entitle you to track room, then you have to leave, each car has to leave each other room on entry and exit to that corner. That's all it is. That is all it is. That's entirely all it is. As long as you've reached the correct point, which if you're attacking on the inside, you have to be halfway alongside that car. On the outside, you have to be more than halfway alongside. Okay? But that is the way that your opponent, actually has to afford you track room. Right, I had to pause the video there, so I don't even know where I was. I'm going to try and pick up by reading this again. Right, car 10 was overtaking car 23 on the outside, was level with car 23 at the apex, but fell back briefly prior to the exit of the turn. That's irrelevant, mate. If you're both in a position on entry to the corner whereby you have to leave each other track room, because that's the criteria, then it doesn't matter whether you foul back going around the apex or just after the apex. Doesn't matter. You've still got to leave each other track room on entry and on exit of that corner. Okay? Accordingly, as car 10 left the track and returned in front of car 23, it is deemed to be the case of leaving the track and gaining a lasting advantage. That's nothing to do with it. What this needs to be assessed on is the car on the inside, did it leave room on its outside for there to be space on track for car 10 to remain on track? If there was space there for car 10 to take an outside line around that corner and remain on track, and they didn't, then they are the ones that have committed the offence. They're the ones that were going too fast to remain on track, and therefore they went off track and gained an advantage by trying to drive around a circuit too fast, out of control, and they weren't in control enough to maintain their position on the track, went off track, and you cannot gain an advantage that way. That's the way it works. However, if the car on the inside went all the way across to the outside of the track on their exit of that corner, meaning that there was no track room for car 10, then car 10 has been pushed off track. And the infringement is by the car on the inside not leaving track room for the car on the outside. But look at the way these stewards who pretend they're no part of the FIA, okay, oh, it's not the FIA that are making this decision, it's the stewards, well, the FIA stewards that are making it, yeah, them. And therefore, look at the consistency within the decision making. It's absolutely disgusting. This is the corruption that is going on, where they are selectively choosing which way to apply decisions depending on the outcome that they want. We cannot live in a world whereby certain decisions go certain ways depending on the outcome that they want to produce and who they want to benefit and who they don't. This is filth. Absolute filth. And these are perpetrators. These are fucking criminals. These are absolute criminals. So, it is deemed to be a case of leaving the track and gaining a lasting advantage. Now, I don't have the footage of this. I do not know whether the car on the inside, car 23, drifted all the way to the outside of the circuit and there was any room left whatsoever for Gasly. If there was no room for him, then the car on the inside has pushed him off. If the car on the inside left enough room for Gasly's wheels to be on that track, then Gasly, by going off track, is the person that has committed the infringement by not driving with enough control to remain on the track, and therefore they've gained the advantage by going off the track. Okay, but you shouldn't be penalised if you're the one that's being forced off. If you were in the process of attempting an overtaking manoeuvre and the other car drives you off the track, well, unlucky, you're the one that's committed the offence of driving the other car off the track, and therefore you lose. Okay, you don't get to keep that position. They're trying to overtake you and you drive them off the track, you lose that position. You lose the position, you get done 10 seconds for you driving them off the track. Okay, a 5-second penalty is imposed instead of the 10-second penalty recommended in the guidelines because the driver of car 10 lost the right to the corner. Utter bullshit. Lost the right to the corner. No, the right to the corner is on entry. It's the braking zone to the corner. That is what determines the right to the corner. You have a right to a corner if you've reached a certain position, which is getting your car at least halfway alongside the other car at the braking zone to the corner, and that affords you the right to the corner. You both then got to make it around that corner, leaving track room for the other car. That is how it works. You don't lose the right to the corner halfway round the corner. That's not how it works. You can't go, oh, halfway around the corner, now you can run the other car off the track because they've lost the right to it. No, that's not the way it works. But you lying bastards in these officiating positions, that's what you're projecting because you're entirely corrupt. So, competitors are reminded they have the right to appeal certain decisions of the stewards in accordance with Article 15. So you can appeal, yeah? You can appeal. Oh, but that costs you money if you want to appeal. Oh, the legal process. You have to pay money to get justice. That's the way the law works. Is that the way the justice system works? You can afford justice if you can afford it. If you can pay money, you might get the justice that money can afford, yeah? This is, again, a notion of the world that we live in. We need to change the world, ladies and gentlemen. We do need to change the world. The next one. Because this present world is geared to benefit a certain few, benefit the corrupt, benefit those who it's working for, and those who it's working for will continue lying to convince the masses of this gaslighting bullshit that they all pretend, oh, it could be this, it could be that, oh, here's another example where it could be this, it could be that. These are cars forcing the one off track. Why are the decisions all different? Why are there no clearly defined parameters? Because if I can clearly define the parameters, why are these professional stewards put there to make these decisions? Why can't they apply them correctly? Funny that the governing body doesn't know its own rules, doesn't know its own regulations. This is the governing body that has overseen motorsport for decades, and it doesn't know what the correct parameters are for whether a car's committed an infringement for overtaking and forcing another car off the track or not. Do you not see that as being a problem? Because it is a problem, isn't it? Really is. So this one, Yuki Tsunoda this time, forcing car 23 off the track at turn 12. Okay, a 5-second penalty. The stewards reviewed positioning, marshalling, system data, and in-car video evidence. The driving standard guidelines provide that when overtaking on the inside, the driver must not force the other car off the track. So again, overtaking on the inside. Let's go back to this. Which is the car that's in front? Oh, yeah. So which car is the one that's now having to do an overtake? Oh, it's Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen, we're going into a left-hand bend. Max is going to be on the inside trying to make an overtake now on Lando Norris. Because Norris has already overtaken him there. Norris is in the lead. Norris has overtaken Max. Now Max is trying to re-overtake Lando. Okay, so the car on the inside in these circumstances. No, we're not on that one yet. This one. Okay, so this driving standard guidelines provide that when overtaking on the inside, the driver must not force the other car off the track and must leave a fair and acceptable width for the car being overtaken. This did not occur. Absolutely, it didn't occur. However, in mitigation, a 5-second penalty is imposed instead of the standard 10 because the stewards determined that the forcing off track was not deliberate and the driver of car 22 was in control. So we got a 5-second penalty. Decisions of the stewards are taken independently of the FIA. Yeah, the FIA stewards take decisions that aren't representative of the FIA. Who are the representative of then? Who are they representing then? Are they representing Red Bull? Who knows? Who knows who pays for these stewards? So the next one, we're now on to Lando Norris. Okay, car 4 left the track at turn 12 and gained a lasting advantage. So that's what they describe here. I mean, previously this one says forcing car 23 off the track. That's the fact. This one, they put fact, car 4 left the track and gained a lasting advantage. That's how they want to dress it up. Forcing car 23 off the track. This one is car 10 left the track and gained a lasting advantage. This one is forcing car 77 off the track. Look at the way they dress it up, the way they label the offence. So this one is car 4 left the track. He wasn't forced off the track, no? He wasn't forced off the track. So let's have a look here. Okay. The stewards reviewed positioning, marshalling system data, video and in-car video evidence. How have we got the Max Verstappen camera, the forward-facing one, not the rearward-facing one? Have we got that one that we've not all seen yet? Car 4 was overtaking car 1 on the outside. No. Car 4 had already overtaken on the outside. There he is. Like the 2 trailer park girls, he's gone round the outside. And now, being ahead, Max is on the inside. Yeah. So Max is the one that now needs to perform an overtake. Like I say, if this is the finish line, the winner is Lando Norris. In order for Max Verstappen to be the winner, Max needs to overtake, doesn't he? Yeah, so which is the overtaking car? That would be Max Verstappen. Okay, but look at what the stewards are dressing up. The stewards misrepresenting fact as fact. Car 4 left the track at turn 12 and gained a lasting advantage. These corrupt fuckers can't even identify fact, can they? They are corrupt fuckers. So, and let's not be scared of calling them that. Okay? Don't be offended by terms. Okay? What you need to be offended by is corrupt fuckers. Okay? Corrupt bastard individuals that are polluting society, corrupting minds and perpetrating crime. They're the most offensive thing in this world, not the words that you use to describe them. Okay? If there could be worse words, there could be more terms that would actually display exactly how despicable these people are, I would use them. Okay? These people are a fucking disgrace. Okay? They are a fucking pollutant on this planet. That's exactly what they are. And what they get to live a fucking great lifestyle, don't they? They get to get paid a significant amount of money. They get to live the dream, okay? They get lauded as having this status, and they are just filthy bastards. And that's all they are. Filthy bastards. Anyway, this is what they dress up. Car 4 was overtaking car 1 on the outside. No, car 1 took a late lunge into the corner, attempting to re-overtake car 4. That's the reality. Okay, car 1 didn't brake in time. Okay, or they then came off the brakes so that their car went ahead to get to that apex quicker, to crowd the other car, to force itself to that position, but in such a way that they didn't have control of the car enough to keep on the track on the exit of that corner. That is dangerous driving. That is reckless. That's what actually happened, but was not level with car 1 at the apex. Why was it not level with car 1 at the apex? Because car 1 had carried too much speed into a corner so that it couldn't make that corner. Therefore, under the driving standards guidelines, car 4 has lost the right to the corner. Accordingly, as car 4 left the track and returned in front of car 1, it is deemed to be the case of leaving the track and gaining a lasting advantage. A 5-second penalty is imposed instead of a 10-second penalty recommended, because having committed to overtaking move on the outside, the driver of car 4 has little alternative other than to leave the track because of the proximity of car 1. So, you're saying, we've gone easy on Lando because he doesn't really have an alternative but to leave the track because of the proximity of car 1. What, because car 1 has driven him off the track? Car 1 has driven him off the track, and you're saying, oh yeah, we'll go easy on the penalty on him because he doesn't have much option. Unbelievable. Competitors are reminded they have the right to appeal. Yeah, you can pay to appeal, just like Mercedes did at Abu Dhabi, but we'll still side with Red Bull. We'll still lie. We'll still invite Red Bull into the appeal to ask Red Bull what they think. We call that let them race, Michael. Corruption, right? This is corruption to the highest level. In doing so, they incite people. They know that it's going to create conflict. They know that what it's going to do, it's going to outrage people. People are going to be outraged by what they see. But then you're going to have the strap-on fanboy that's going to be loving it, okay? They're going to relish it. You're going to get people that are going to come to the comment section of this video and they're going to try and take this apart, okay? But this is truth. This is the reality, okay? You might not like me. You might not like that I get irate and that I get passionate in what I say. You might not like it if I raise my voice. You might not like it if I use the word fuck, okay? Them things should not matter. What should matter is what is right and what is wrong in the context of this given situation. Now, what is right and what is wrong is that these people that are put in place to make these decisions are applying these decisions corruptly, entirely corruptly. They favoured Max Verstappen when Max Verstappen should have been the one that was penalised. Out of all of those overtakes, Max Verstappen was out of control. Max Verstappen could not even stay on the track himself, and yet the situation is dressed up and presented in a completely different manner. No mention of Max being out of control and not being able to keep his own car on the track. The reason being that he carried too much speed into the corner. Instead, what do they say? Oh, but Max got to the apex first. Irrelevant. If you're driving down a straight and you've got a corner at the end of the straight and you're going 200 miles an hour, well, what you have to do, in order to go around that corner, you have to slow down. And if two cars are side by side and one goes, well, I'm not going to slow down, I'm going to carry on going at 200 miles an hour. Guess what? The car that's doing 200 miles an hour, that will reach the apex first, funnily enough. Yeah, that will get there first, because the one that's trying to go around that corner, he's going to have to brake to go around the corner. But if you carry on at 200 miles an hour, yeah, you'll get to the apex first, but what will happen is you'll go off the track. Yeah, so you're the one that's in the wrong, because you're not performing what you need to do that this sport requires. It's not a drag race to the apex. That's not the criteria. This is what they're lying now. That these are lies that they've introduced into the sport to validate Max Verstappen. And what you're going to get, which I'm now going to have to do in a video because I know that this has gone on too long, it's a different video, is you get Rat Boy here, little weasel, little wank boy weasel here, validating that. Sky Sports validating that. Paid broadcasters, paid liars lying about that. And this is truly disgusting. And this is what we get presented in all forms of media. Okay? Corruption at government level, benefiting billionaire corporations and rat boys in the fucking media put in front of us to lie to us, to bullshit us about the true reality of what's really going on. These people are vermin. Absolute fucking vermin. And they need destroying. They need taking down and fucking destroying. Anyway, that'll do on this video. Understand what is actually going on here. Look at this validation of Max Verstappen. It's completely the opposite of the truth. Completely opposite of the truth. And these bastards, they're not going to correct themselves. Corruption does not right himself. Okay? They need to be... This is why we have rules. This is why we have laws in life. To prevent tyrants from seizing control of things and ruling with tyranny. And that is exactly what is going on. Okay? Utilising government, and this in this case government of a sport, to perpetrate the decisions in favour of the tyrant, to enable the tyrant to make the money. The tyrant always to gain. And over the course of history, we've developed rules, regulations, laws to prevent that. We should be learning from our past, but we're going backwards. And why we're going backwards is because these tyrants, these billionaires, now have control of the media, and that media is being used to condition people to accept this. This is the conditioning. These are the values that they are perpetrating, and they are trying to they're trying to make society accept that way of conducting, and by doing so, that enables them. And that is the problem, and this is where the world is heading. This is the grave danger that is actually impacting all of our lives. Understand that. This is far bigger than just Formula One. So the strap-on fanboy that wants to come here to the channel to go, ha, 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 ha. Look, little wank boy, you don't understand, okay? You're 14, you might grow some pubes at some point, right? You don't understand that this is far greater than your little hero, Max Verstappen. This is the fucking mechanics of global corruption being perpetrated in our face. You think that this is working for you at the moment. You think that this gives you what you want, and it might do in this particular facet, but every other facet of your life it's not doing that, and you don't understand. It's far bigger than Formula One. Anyway, that'll do on this one. Thank you all for your time.